Hey everyone, and welcome back to Motorway Gaming. On July the 28th, 2022, I built my first PC, and I would like to give some advice to first-time builders. This is not going to be a guide, I'll just give like a few tips to people who don't really know that much. So the first tip is you don't want to be building your PC on a carpet. You want to find like a hard flooring, like some tiles or like wooden planks, because carpets have got like delocalized electrons, and yeah, you know what, and those particles are charged. So because you're a good conductor of electricity, and metals are as well, if you like touch the carpet and you touch your computer parts before grounding yourself, you're most likely going to fry your components. So to ground yourself, you want to like touch a radiator or your power supply, preferably a radiator. And you can use an anti-static wrist strap, but it's not really needed. It's just better to ground yourself with a radiator. Just remember to frequently do it. And the next tip is you want to build as much as you can on your motherboard before putting it into your PC case. Putting the motherboard into your PC case, that is, because that only makes life harder for you. Because if you put your motherboard into your case and you haven't installed the CPU, RAM, NVMe SSD, and like air coolers, then that's going to be a bit of a problem. However, like, don't install every component onto your motherboard before putting it into your PC case, because graphics cards are kind of an exception for this. For the last point I made, if you were to install your graphics card onto your motherboard before putting it into a case, that will be a hassle, or like if you did it to any other extension card. Now, the third tip is you want to make sure you know which way round the intake and exhaust fans are, for like if you're installing fans into your computer, because if you got them the wrong way round, you could just mess up the airflow, which isn't that good, because you could cause your computer to overheat, because computers overheat when they're working at really high temperatures. So you want to maintain like a constant airflow throughout, and then like the airflow keeps going. Yeah, you know what I mean. So after that, another tip is if you have a power supply, you must have like the fan facing down, because if you have it facing up, then you're just going to blast more hot air into your PC, decreasing the efficiency. Also, if you were to get a power supply, I recommend gold, because you want like high rated power supply if you want to minimize the risks of like failure. You might be able to get away with bronze. Like, I know quite a few people that did that, but I'd recommend gold. Platinum works better than gold, but I wouldn't really recommend it because it's far more expensive. So I'd say gold. Now, going back to the point on like installing your components on your motherboard, the components you should install are CPU, RAM, NVMe SSD if you have that, and if you have an aftermarket or stock air cooler, you can install that, but make sure to refer to your manual when you're building your PC. If you have like an aftermarket air cooler, you're probably going to have to change the brackets. And some more advice is that you have to make sure all your components are compatible. Don't just get like an AMD CPU and Intel motherboard, or vice versa. And you also have to make sure that like you have to get the required extension cards if you don't have like integrated Wi-Fi, integrated sound, etc. Because that will only be a hassle. So there are certain components like SATA SSD which definitely should not be installed on the motherboard. That doesn't even make any sense. You have like designated caddies for that. Like if you're installing the power supply, you have to use designated cables. I would recommend a fully modular power supply if you could get it. Non-modular, I think that might work because I know some people that have them. Same with like semi-modular, but I fully recommend getting a fully modular power supply, and I hope that advice helps you. I will also show you a picture of my PC.